Guys, this is Freeplay Frenchie. Welcome back to another one-take video. We have a lot to talk about today. Mass Effect Andromeda is being torn to shreds. Literally everyone is attacking it. This is very, 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 very sad news, especially for me. I was going to go to a midnight release. I was just assuming there was going to be a midnight release because it was Mass Effect Andromeda and a big deal, and I was so excited, and everyone else was going to be. And I assumed there was going to be one, and I've been doing a little bit of contacting the game store that I was going to go to. Turns out probably not going to do a midnight release because no one's pre-ordered the game, because no one's that bothered, and now it's come out in America and everyone is just tearing it up. Poor BioWare. I can imagine the studios are completely manic right now if they're bothered enough and if they're doing all they can to fix the patches and send the patches out for everyone. Let me just say first off, sorry if I sound a little funny, I'm getting over a cold, but I wanted to do this and I've done a very quick get up today because I wanted to get this out there and talk to you about it because it's a big deal. So, as I said, very excited. I was really looking forward to it. Everything seemed fine. There were a few people that were very sketchy and skeptical about it because they were like, so many games do this thing where they show us all the best bits but then don't actually deliver. And loads of people hadn't actually pre-ordered the game because it's been such a long time between the original trilogy. It was going to be very, very different this time around. A lot of people were a bit, I didn't pre-order the game. I was just going to go to the midnight release. But now there's not going to be a midnight release. And I wanted to do a live Instagram video with all of you guys and be like, look, we're in the line together and having a nice time. Probably not going to happen now, which is a real shame. But I might try and do a little live video of me sitting on the bed being like, look guys, I'm downloading the game, yay, and just chat with you or something like that. That would be fun. Anyway, so let's talk about what's gone wrong, apparently. There's a list. I made a list. The first foremost thing is the facial animations. You guys have probably seen the pictures by now. It's not looking great, is it? And there are a few people, now that it's died down, slowly dying down, there are a few people who are saying, you're exaggerating, it's not that big of a deal. I've seen the videos, they look exactly the same from the 2007 game, right? When you're talking to Ashley, they look exactly the same, and it's worrying because they're just staring blankly at you. And that wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't a next-gen game, and they should have sorted this by now. Like, personally, I think they've budgeted it wrong. I think someone, maybe EA, maybe someone at the top, we'll get to this as reasons later, but I think personally someone didn't want to spend money on the expensive graphics. I mean, look at Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is doing it perfectly well, really, really well, and LA Noire, back in the day, just used that expensive facial recognition stuff and had the best graphics for its time. So why the hell are they not animating it properly? I don't think that's something that can be fixed quickly in a patch. I mean, obviously bugs can and a few other things can as well, but I don't know about facial animations. They really should have got that out there though, because everyone knew it was a big thing, a big criticism of the last games. So that's one of them. Then we hear lack of drama, story and consequence. This is something I got from the Eurogamer review. It turns out that there's very little in terms of, because they've replaced the Paragon and Renegade options, which is fair enough because it was very linear, they've replaced it with some things like, flirty rider, soppy rider, emotional rider as in options on the little dialogue button at the bottom. But you don't really see any kind of consequence for choosing those options, just that you kind of respond in a different way. That being said, there's also, because there's no overarching threat, I think a lot of people have found that you don't feel very much like a hero. You don't feel very much like a big deal. I also heard that the big fight with the Archket guy, I don't know, Archon, is that his name, is in the middle of the game rather than towards the end. So obviously that's a big deal that happens sort of in between, but so it's not a massive big deal. It's not the key point of the story. So people have found that there's a lack of drama really, and that you're just kind of going from place to place, not really doing very much exploring. They did say it was an exploring game, which is great and sounds wonderful, but a lot of what people liked about Mass Effect, as with Dragon Age, is the big problems that you've got to solve. You're the hero sorting it out. And this doesn't appear to be like that. That leads me on to the quests. Apparently side quests are poor. A lot of fetch and grabbing and scanning planets. a lack of visitable planets as well. I was very upset when I found out that the Andromeda, we're not even exploring the Andromeda Galaxy, we're exploring a cluster within the Andromeda Galaxy. And considering they managed to do it fine in the last games where you could explore all of the galaxy, I don't see why we've just been resigned to a single cluster with a load of planets that you can't even visit. That's bothering me because I was going to say this at the end, but I'm going to say it now anyway. I think I can live with all this. I think when I play it, because obviously I'm still going to play it and I want to enjoy it. I think as long as I feel like it's a step forward, then I'll enjoy it. As long as I feel like I'm not limited, like the old games make you feel limited in your behaviour, limited in your options. Next gen games should always make you feel more free, which is why I love open world games, because you can do whatever the hell you want in whatever order you want. Apparently with the quests, there are certain quests that you can't trigger again if you haven't done something else, or you can't do certain things if you've done something else. Dragon Age Inquisition is a brilliant example of the opposite, because you can do whatever the hell you want when you want. It's really not much of a big deal. You do have to build up your power and influence, but you can still do it in whatever order you want. And being restricted via quests and, you know, just going to do some scanning of some planets is Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2 level crap. And we don't need it. Which then leads me on to dialogue and characters themselves. Some people are very unhappy with PB. They just find her annoying. Apparently the dialogue's not been written very well, not been very scripted. This all sounds like the team itself fucked up major. And there are rumours that this is the first game by Team B. Team A apparently are responsible for Dragon Age and all that lot. This is all stuff I've been hearing from people on Instagram and Facebook, etc., etc. So apparently it's their first big game. I've also heard that apparently a lead designer quit 1 month before and a developer quit as well. I've also heard that a lot of people that were hired were on short-term contracts, so not particularly invested in the game, in there for a short while, doing what they can, perhaps not very well trained. Some comments I've saw said things like, this is what happens when you hire people with no training, etc., etc. So to be honest, I'm looking forward to when a few months go by, everyone's got the game, and they open up a little bit about what went wrong. I imagine they're not saying anything now in terms of addressing why it's so shit, because they want to see how much money they can actually make. And I imagine they're waiting for the UK base to buy the game and seeing what they can salvage. And then as the time goes by, they'll say, right, look, this is what went wrong. This is what we need to do better. It is very odd for this to come from BioWare. It really wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting Dragon Age Inquisition in space. And considering how well they pulled off that game, it was Game of the Year, it won numerous awards, what the hell has happened here? This was supposed to be a next-gen quality game, full of adventure, full of options, open world, but not too open world, you know, characters we love, etc., etc. And what they've given us is something that's a bit patchy and feels like it needed at least 3 more months of work, which we could have waited. You know, it would have sucked, but we would have waited and it would have been better. A little part of me thinks that EA rushed it, of course, because everyone in the BioWare fandom likes to blame EA because they bought BioWare. So there we are. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said, if I was to blame anything, I would say it's obviously some kind of up there hierarchy, people's fault, maybe not hiring the right people, maybe not budgeting it properly, because the money should be spent on graphics and story and, I don't know, quests, and making sure the quests are right, because they said they were looking at The Witcher 3 and Dragon Age in terms of how to improve the quests and make them better, because Dragon Age Inquisition had too many that weren't worth it, really, and The Witcher does it very, very well. Apparently I haven't played The Witcher 3, but I need to. And they said they were going to look at this, and it sounds like they haven't. Sounds like they've cocked it up big time. So, I don't know, I'm really worried, to be honest, because they are getting torn to shreds. A lot of the fans are still very much like, you know what, BioWare, it's okay, thank you for the game, it's great, we're going to enjoy it. I'm worried. And some people are also saying that you can finish the main game in about 24 hours, or 22 hours, which is a bit odd, and I'm hoping that's not true, because that would suck as well. It should be a long game. But there we are. That's everything that's going down at the minute. If I have any more news that I think's newsworthy, I'll probably make an Instagram video, like a short excerpt. I'm really hoping that by the time I come to get the game, there'll be a good few patches out there, so I can just download them at the same time and get the best version of the game. personally, I think I'll probably still enjoy it. There's new characters, a new world, a new place, and a lot of it I think is very big and expansive and exciting, and you can, you know, do a lot of stuff that you couldn't do before. But as with most games, new games, they seem to have forgotten all the little things that we liked as well. Worst case scenario, at least I can play Horizon Zero Dawn, which is out now. I'll play this first and then I'll get that. And if I need a pick me up, maybe I'll just go and play that and feel better about gaming and stuff in general. So there you are, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think you'll be doing with Mass Effect Andromeda, why you think it's all gone downhill, and, you know, causes and stuff. Hopefully they'll be very open with us. They usually are. So we'll find out later. And don't forget to leave me a little like if you enjoyed all this info. You can find me on Instagram at FreePlayFrenchie. So thanks very much for coming by. Thanks very much for coming by, guys. Always good to see you. Be cool, be kind, and I will see you in the next episode.